What's up, guys? Today we are going back to the disturbing movies reviews. We're going to be reviewing and talking about a movie called Angst, released by Cult Epics. Check it out. What's up, guys? This is Kyle over here at the Horror File, coming back with another disturbing movies review today. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these reviews for the disturbing movie series, and I'm actually researching and watching a lot more of the so-called quote unquote disturbing movies. Today I'm going to be doing one that I've been hearing a lot of buzz about. I actually watched a couple of reviews on this movie, so I had to check it out. This movie is the 1983 Austrian movie called Angst. This movie was directed by Gerald Cargill. And it stars Erwin Leder, who does an amazing performance in this film, I must say. This movie, it's kind of a short movie. I think this will run you about an hour and 25 minutes, somewhere in there, which I love movies that are exactly that time frame, like the hour 15, hour 25 minutes, somewhere in there. I think that's a perfect, basically a perfect stop for a movie and, perfect length of a movie. So I was really happy that was, how long it was. Which I honestly would have been happier if it was a little bit longer, but it did hit, pretty much hit all the notes that I wanted it to hit. This movie is loosely based on the mass murderer Werner Nisek. I think that's how you say his name. Kind of go over the plot of this movie. It's really simple. There's really not much to this movie whatsoever. Basically, you got this guy who gets out of prison. He committed a ton of horrible acts before he went into prison. He does his time. He gets out of prison. The movie is actually narrated by Erwin Leder, or I don't know if he was the one talking in the narration, but it's narrated by the main character. He's actually kind of reading a story of his, almost like a biography of his life, or an autobiography of his life, as the movie is going on. So, pretty much narrating the whole movie. There are scenes where he says things in the movie which are very small scenes. Most of the, like I said, 95% of the movie is him narrating the movie throughout as he's doing things. So like he's walking down the road, he's holding his briefcase, he just got out of jail, he's talking in the background of, how his life went, how he led up to the point of being in the prison, which I honestly really liked that kind of fact. Or the way that they filmed that, I think that's really cool. Like I said, this is a German subbed movie. It is an Austrian movie, but it's German subbed. So you do have to read all of the narration and things, which I honestly like. I don't mind, especially with like a narration. I think that's really cool. But the movie starts out, talking about his life a little bit, kind of go a brief overview of his life, how he became, put in jail, how he got put in jail, some of the brief acts that he's actually done. Then he gets out of jail, he serves his time, he has a briefcase. He already has this somewhat of a plan of what he's going to do once he gets out of jail. It doesn't really tell you, it's going to be a bad plan, or he's going to be doing bad things. It doesn't really tell you exactly what he's going to be doing, but he does say when he gets out, he's walking down the road with his briefcase, he says he has a plan. He ends up going into this diner in one of the first scenes, and he orders some food. He's actually looking around at the people in this diner. He's saying in his head that there's two girls sitting at this diner. I'm going crazy looking at them. I want to get them in my car and do what I've planned out to do with these girls. Still hasn't said really what he's going to do. He never does anything in the diner. He ends up taking off out of the diner, walking down the road, and he finds this abandoned house. And this is pretty much where the whole plot takes place. It's not an abandoned house, but he finds this house where he thinks there's no one in it, no one living there, and he was going to take over the house and pretty much do what he was planning to do, to the people, to people, bring them to the house and do it to the people in the house. Well, he gets in the house. First thing he sees is there's this mentally handicapped man in a wheelchair, and he sees that there are people living here. So it's just the homeowners aren't home. This mentally handicapped guy, he can't really talk or say anything, or he doesn't really know what's going on. So the people in the house come home, and that's pretty much where the movie starts out. The psychopath pretty much ends up torturing these people, and doing like very unspeakable acts to these people. And that's pretty much the whole movie right there. I'm not going to spoil it. This is another one of those movies that is like, the plot's so super simple that no matter what I say, it can really spoil the movie. But I will get you to the point, which is in the first 30 minutes, he gets to the house, and then pretty much from there on, tons of stuff happens with these people, things that he does to these people. You really just kind of got to watch and see, how it is. This movie was actually released on Blu-ray by Cult Epics, which it's great release, has great special features and things on it. Definitely recommend picking it up. My thoughts on why this can be considered, a lot of people consider this a disturbing movie. This is a really, really good example movie of the mind of a psychopath. This movie is the perfect portrayal of a psychopath, in my opinion. I mean, it brings you from start to finish without any gaps in it of what this guy does the minute he gets out of jail, how he's thinking, what he thinks of people, his prior life, how, all the bad things that happened to him when he was growing up. I feel like I've seen a lot of serial killer documentaries, and I know that a lot of serial killers have bad childhoods. Some of them do have good childhoods, but a lot of them have bad childhoods. They, start torturing animals when they're younger, which this guy does, and it kind of leads up to this is why he's doing this. I think this is a great example of that type of movie, or a serial killer movie, in getting to the mind of a psychopath. The movie is beautifully directed. I mean, this movie is directed a lot of times with looks like a camera is like mounted on Erwin Letter's chest, or like mounted around his his torso, and it's like right here, almost like POV style, which is really cool. I really think that's cool. And that's not the whole movie like that. That's just certain scenes, which I think are really cool. The movie itself is very wonderfully that follows him along as he's walking down the road, as he's going to the house, as he's doing things. I think that's really cool directorial style there. And it's also really cool, like a really cool written movie. It's really just cool to see this, as it's going on and what this guy's thinking. And I think with it being loosely based off of a mass murderer, they may have taken some journal notes or something along those lines of what this guy was thinking that it's based off of, and maybe that's why it's loosely based off of this guy. I would give this movie a solid 9.5 out of 10. The only bad thing, or the only thing that I have bad to say about this movie is I do wish that this movie itself was just a little bit longer. It kind of prematurely ended without you kind of you know what happens, but it just kind of somewhat prematurely ended. Other than that, this is a perfect 10 out of 10, but I would give this a 9.5 out of 10. Highly recommend checking it out. There's a lot of blood in this movie, a lot of gore. There's some scenes of necrophilia in this movie. There really is a lot of disturbing elements to this movie. I mean, this didn't really hit me on a disturbing movies level. I didn't feel like, in my opinion, I would consider this a disturbing movie, but I know a lot of people probably would if they checked it out. So check out Angst. Let me know what you guys think if you've already seen it. Let me know what you think if you haven't seen it and you watch it. Like, subscribe to the page, and until next time, peace. See ya.